The journey to realizing and coming out as a trans man for the second time in my life was actually unexpected, believe it or not. Here's the story. But first, let's sit down because this might take a few minutes. So, what had happened is back in 2017, I came out as a trans man the first time. Keep in mind, I was only 20 years old. And so I came out, I started hormone treatment, I did all of that for 8 months of my life, and then I decided to full out detransition. I didn't really have adequate support, guidance. I didn't know what to expect of the journey. It just felt really dark and heavy at the time. So I had to make a really personal choice. I was in a dark headspace. It was, I could either not be here anymore or I could choose to commit to myself for the first time in my life. And that's really what opened this whole journey of personal growth, self-love, self-discovery, human behavior, human potential, energy, all the things that I've tapped into over the last 7 years. It all started with that very moment of committing to loving myself unconditionally and getting to know myself on a real soul level. So over the course of 7 years, I really went all in on myself. I transformed my mindset, my relationships, my habits, literally everything from the inside out. I felt like I was at a really good place. I had met the love of my life. I was just moving into Canada 2 years ago now. Yeah, 2 years ago now. So I was just moving into Canada, and what had happened is with my now wife, some unexpected trauma came up, and it was very complex trauma that really put us on our ass and feet for a year. And even to this day, we're still picking our life back up from after what had happened. And because of this unexpected trauma, it brought up all of my patterns and all of my unhealed wounds again to the surface to be revisited and to deepen the healing. So that's when all of this gender stuff started to come to the surface again. And if it wasn't for the unexpected trauma that we had gone through, I don't know if I would have gone to this point in myself to realize this. I've done the most emotional healing I've ever done in my whole life within this last year since realizing I was a trans man for the second time. And how it actually came about is my willingness to always connect to something more and hold strong in my faith through really hard times and seasons in life. That's something I've always done. I don't know if there's a God, a higher power, universe, whatever the heck is up there, but I've always prayed to something, carry me through this. Show me the strength, show me the way, show me how to overcome this, show me how to not let these things hold me back, and all of that kind of jazz. I really hold on to that something more and that connection and having faith in that as well. And that's something that began when I was 17 years old, because I had lost one of my best friends, close friends, to suicide at a really young age. So it forced me to ask really big life questions at 17 years old. And since then, I've always held on to that connection to more that I've built. And when I decided to detransition back in 2017, that's when, I connected with that connection to more and prayed and held faith. And then most recently, within this last year and realizing I'm trans for the second time, is I actually started to not just connect with more or the universe or Buddha or all of these spiritual different avenues that we can go, because at the end of the day they really are the same thing, but there's so many avenues that we can go. And I've gone so many different avenues because we grow up in a world where we're taught that being queer and trans is a sin, it's an abomination, all of these things. So I feel like it took me a very long time to be Jesus, God, I know that you love me, and can you please help me now? So that's kind of where I got to this year. Is I dropped all the spiritual practices and different avenues that I was using, and I just connected with Jesus, and I connected with the Holy Spirit, I connected with God. I was patient, I was willing to listen to what was being delivered to me from that. And they were hard realizations, they were uncomfortable truths that I had to face within myself, but I prayed for them and they came. And something else that I really prayed for during this year and time of realizing I'm a trans man for the second time and coming out with that truth is I prayed to God to show me the truth of who I am in the image of God. I also asked God, I said, can you please show me the truth of this journey in the image of you as well? Like, why have I been on this journey for 7 years? Why did I have to go through this unexpected trauma? Can you please show me all of these things in the image of you? And can you lead me through this? And can you show me how to move forward through this? And through all of those prayers and all of the healing and breakthroughs that he sent me, that's what came through to me, is that I am indefinitely a trans man. I was made a trans man, and it's my job in this lifetime to learn how to see myself in that truth, to accept myself in that truth, to love myself in that truth. You know, if I can find, you know, the courage and the willingness and commitment to love myself as the masculine, lesbian, female that the world wanted me to be, then I can also do that same process with my soul's truth, which is being a trans man in this lifetime. So that's the journey that I've been on this last year. That's how this unexpectedly came out of the blue again, and how I've recommitted to the journey of my gender transition and my truth.